just the logic of getting rid of Trey for a fourth-round pick? Like, why was that a good move for the organization?
Well, we decided on our two we're going to be that we were going with. We'll see how our 53 works out to see if we're going to keep 3 or not. And when we told Trey, when we told him that he wasn't the 2, I said we'd like to keep him here as the 3. But we also want to do what's good for him too. And we'll see how this plays out. Now, when we looked at other teams and he told us that he would like another opportunity to go somewhere where we had a chance to be the 2, we thought we got some good deals for him. There was a number of teams involved. To end up getting in the 4th was a little better than we anticipated and clears up a lot of money and allows a better situation for him too.
Did he request the trade, and was it a situation where it was unrepairable to the point where if he wasn't traded, you would have had to release him?
No, it was never unprepared. What did you call it? We could always fit. I mean, we were good. Like Trey, actually had a great conversation with him today. Had a tough conversation when I told him he didn't win the second job. Today was much easier, just going through it for the last couple of days with him. But no, there was nothing to fix. It was what it was. And I told him when we told him that he was going to be the 3. If he could find another opportunity that was good, we'd allow him to do that. And he did. And we feel he'll be better for it, and think we will too.
Why did you end the quarterback competition before the 3rd preseason?
Because I knew it. I thought it would take longer. I wanted to go through this game, but I knew it. And I think a lot of guys knew it. And I think he had an idea. It was more about my relationship with Trey that, I'm in meetings with him every day and stuff. I'm on the field with him every day. And I could get a sense that he was starting to feel that we felt that way. And it was the truth. And I don't want to BS him. So once we knew and once I could tell he knew that we knew, I remember the night before, I realized, I'm going to come in the morning and tell him. I don't want that between us. So I did. Didn't expect it to get out right away, but it did. But that was something I thought I owed to Trey. And I told Trey right before a team meeting that we had. I didn't get a chance to even tell Sam or anyone else on the team. That was just a personal thing between Trey and I, and it obviously got out, but that's why I thought it was important to tell him.
When we asked you on Wednesday, you didn't tell us. Did you want to tell the players first? What was your reasoning?
No, my reasoning was, I would love to tell the players first. I'd love to tell Sam first. We were hoping that Trey was going to come to practice still, and I totally understood why he didn't. He asked if he could have it off because, he was a little emotional and stuff, didn't want to be around the players like that, and totally understood that. But we're still hoping he would come, and then by the time he didn't, wasn't going to have a meeting on the field to tell the players who we announced as a second-string guy. And I had not to mention, practice ended at 1:43, and I had a radio show at 1:45. And so I got on a radio show, and I talked about it for 20 minutes there, and that's what I felt good with because I thought if I talked about it there, you guys would get that information. Unfortunately, I found out that radio show was delayed because of a baseball game. They went into extra innings, so you guys didn't find out till 4:30. So if I would have had it over, I would have told you guys right away. But usually when I do a radio show, you guys get that stuff pretty fast. So I thought you guys had it, and I realized that you didn't until about 4:30.
Team today.
When you signed Darnold, did you tell Trey this could be the backup? Was it clear to him? And if it was, what was his reaction even back then?
I told Trey the same thing I told you guys. Brock since day one. So, it's been everything we've told you guys, we've told him. We said if Brock was healthy, it was going to be hard for anyone to beat him out with what he put on tape last year. If he's not healthy, Sam and Trey were competing for the 1 spot. If he was, we thought they'd be competing for the 2. That's what we said before they got here. That's what they said when they got here, OTAs and training camp, and that's the way it worked out. They had OTAs together. They had all these practices, and Sam won that competition.
What did Sam show you during the practices and during camp to make you and the staff feel that he was the better choice?
Just everything, the whole body of work. He got better as it went. I thought it was tight for a little bit, and just over the last couple weeks and stuff, started to separate himself each day, and just the more comfortable he got, the more consistent he got. I think it was pretty apparent for all of us.
To clarify, did he request a trade, and which day did that happen, and how was that conveyed to you?
When Trey and I talked, we talked about all the situations going forward, and I told him how much I'd still want him here to be the 3 and things like that. I also told him that what I think's best for Trey. I do think Trey needs an opportunity to play more. The opportunities he's had here, when he has had those 2 opportunities, he's gotten hurt in both of them and kind of missed that window a little bit. Gave an opportunity for someone else to do it, and that person did it and stayed healthy for those 7 games and showed us something that we're confident in. And Trey kind of needs that again, and he didn't get that here. And so I told him that's what I think is best for him if he can find a good opportunity. If he doesn't and he wants to be here, well, we want him here. And Trey took a little bit of time to think about it, but he came back and said he'd like to find another spot if we can. And that's when we started looking into it, his agent, us, and that came to fruition today.
That first conversation was Wednesday, and then Thursday he came back and said, I'd rather find
No, the
another-"
first conversation was Wednesday. About an hour and a half later, he came and told me that he would like that. He'd also like to not have to go out to practice and stuff, just to get his stuff together and think about it. And that's what he did. And the next day he came in and was at our walkthrough, was at our meetings last night. We didn't know if something would happen today. Him and I were communicating about it yesterday, the possibilities of it, told him some teams that were interested. So I was talking about those options last night, what I thought was best, what he did. And then today, some other teams became interested. And if they wouldn't have, he would have been out at that game and stuff, and we would have tried to go with him as our 3. But some good stuff did come up, and some stuff that I think he's really excited about, especially telling him today, I could tell he was, and some things we are too.
You did give up a lot for him. He's still young. Was this a failure of evaluation, a failure of just circumstance? How would you characterize this move?
I mean, obviously, we took our shot, and it didn't work out. So, I mean, that's on us for that. But I'm not going to say anything as in failure. That'd be too much of a negative towards Trey. I get our deal. We took a shot to go for that. We were hoping that he could be our guy, and that didn't work out. So I understand that from our standpoint, but I still do believe in Trey. And, about 3 years ago, we had the 12th pick in the draft, after that COVID year, but we thought we had a really good team. And we didn't think we'd have a chance again to get close to that top area to take a quarterback in the top 10. And when you have the 12th pick in the draft, we went into it realizing it was a risk, but we thought we weren't going to pick that high again for a couple of years, and we would never have a chance to move from 12 to 3. We tried to move up to a number of spots before that, but 3 was the first one that would do it. We looked into everything between 12 and 3. And we got that, and we took our shot, something we believed in and a person we believed in. Was hoping he could play more his first year. We knew he wouldn't come in and just take it over from Jimmy, but we were hoping to mix it in and kind of give him some experience. But once he broke the finger and stuff, it just got tougher for him as time went. We knew we'd commit to him the next year, which we did. We knew he wasn't fully ready in every aspect, but we knew he had a skill set that we could put some stuff together to give him the chance to compete and grow with a good team as he developed as a full quarterback. And he got hurt in the first quarter of the second game, which kind of set that back. And now we're here in the 3rd year, and we still got a good team. And we thought it would be Trey. I think we got pretty fortunate falling into still having a rookie quarterback in our 3rd year that happened to be the 7th round pick. And we also look back at it as we didn't think with having the 29th pick, which those 2 first-round picks ended up being the 29th pick in the draft, which we were expecting it to be late. We were hoping it would be 32 or something like that, but we know with two first-round picks that are both at 29, you can never even consider to move up to something like that. And so we had to act then, and we did. Didn't work out, which can be a huge challenge, but that's why we feel pretty fortunate what we fell into.
Was Trey able to go over the options with you this morning before you accepted the trade, and then how did you convey that to the team?
I just told the team I told them after the deal, just, anytime you trade a quarterback and things like that, all those guys are going through some similar stuff. I'm going to have a lot of tough conversations with a lot of guys over these next few days. But I always told them the circumstances are different when it's under this magnitude, a quarterback position, someone who was drafted like him. So I just told them that's up for John and I to decide. I hope they trust us with what's best for the team, but they just got to be prepared for those questions and stuff, which they're not going to know much about.
One non-QB question. What's the status of Jake Moody, and how long is he going to be out?
That's week to week.